is Boadu TV. Truth and integrity.
Ahaya Boadu TV, yama munyina kwaba emfa embraso. Yebesho so first time na subscribe yenyina like video no. Na yenje comment into comment section we are near share dia all social media platforms so. Na Listowel ne Ivan Chei afe Solomon dia boy ni CTV so anya sanketwa. Na ni nyina ne se Jean Mensah boss ebesi ne Okanque North about why to ye no. Wamu hu de wodi nkwanimu say ye rabra obinu say ye ekwe free you NDC ne MPP de abani sabesi ne isi so te wo na waka na to so na ode ne so wram si MPP for say ye pepe sekita ye nie etimi me edi nkwani NDC for say ye ntia seda pin sheet nso aye hu isi dia ye hu ayin ya ko na bra na to kwasa che ya dia waya da fa mami we hu no na ono te wo kra ye den sa easy boss no to ye den wo ho MPP for akwanhwemu omo chese da ye die by next year na omo yi flag bearer amanfo bi kasa Listowel omo kasa be breed defend MPP de akoso no ho jawadwen kiretum amaye yeti omo
me di nkomo bi fa Ablekuma North ne ni nsemsem ho
okay
me ye sure say we follow the conversation over the period edie ne ye ho as a nation ye did ne saa na akoye Saudi ye bi na ya san aba na tweka saa what is wrong with us as a people?
I think the Dika mention what here for it's sad when you have about for how many months in the year abano you to December somewhere it's almost 6 months in the year and the constituency is here to have a representation and for many of Ghanaians the majority of the people within our political they don't care. It's not much of a concern because after all you don't know now and it's exactly what happened at Washa. Say you turn for the whole 4 years a constituency and your representative. So whatever it is, you expect by now, whateve the problem is, can resolve your way. Because the paramount interest and yet which political party and the political representative. But the people out there, no wine and no meet me when the Democrats say MP. But you are such a very terrible president. You 4 years, I will be in your MP. And this will be say, so win 6 months, what is the problem? That is the idea. But per the constitutional provision, it is totally illegal to go this long run without a representation. The constitutional right now, these individuals enjoy under the 1996 constitution. You've taken it away.
Exactly.
And you don't see any clear path line there that why the electoral commissioner, the institution that is supposed to take both steps and ensure say we resolve this particular matter. Nothing straightforward. Just there is no clear-cut path, and that has to do with Adebia Mekase. The institutional weaknesses are over the years, I jeopardize the prospect of our democracy in Benin because in a country where you have robust, very independent, fair-minded electoral commission, whatever the situation is, you need just about a month or whatever to do whatever it is. But and I'm saying over the year you're going to elections, the scars of this electoral misunderstanding, no kind of fast or resolve some of the issues now. And it creates a whole lot of the first scene in this country, Amana Baba say if we go ahead to do this thing, what will be the possible political backlash? Because don't forget, people are seeking to protect their job. Electoral commission is the way. Or not sure whether petition Yedakogu president and him asking so I don't know what is happening, but for me, feeding into the ineffectiveness, institutions enjoy over the years, and I will not blame any political party. Although they are actors, they have key interest, and whichever way we are political actors, who say MPP for a year, they dig. These are political parties with political interest. You can't begrudge them when they rise to the occasion and demand, say, we do this, do that. But you as an institution, we are fair-minded, we are focused, and you know what you want. When there's a clear-cut part line, and Banana for who said this is the line, say na yeko abano. I got 10 polling stations. Pink sheet, and will be one name new before. And now you think that on legitimate grounds, you have legal justifications to annul some of the votes from some of the constituencies now. provide a basis, then you order a re-election at that particular polling stations and so forth. But we cannot continue to subject these people to a long haul of not having a representation because of somebody's ineptitude or incompetence. But for us, it's normal because my culture persisted for how many years? 4 good years, and we never deemed those things as injustice. The people were denied representation for 4 good years. Development, yes, and common sakano. By now, I'm expecting to be creating me a electoral commission for the 4 years in the name of Monsan Kam, Monsan Kano. I would deny more representation, but nobody is taking those issues up. Parliament sat aloof. And for them, it was business as usual because that time, opposition you see, so those dynamics and those weaknesses are creating and normalizing some of these inefficiencies. I would think so. We are good to go, and it's the reason why some of these things are persistent. I think that the pressure be out high. Let us put on the electoral commission, and they should make sure that they do the right thing.
Ivan, in all of this conversation, electoral commission clearly. Say one more pink sheet because of the chaotic scenes here course so coalition center. Okay. The electoral officer, in fact the returning officer for that particular constituency, can open and we have him on tape and record say or say the pink sheet ira.
Okay.
Fast forward, pink sheet ira. You decided say after we rely on the 2 political parties. Indeed. NDC for Beka say one on so who one pink sheet nibi. Then you decided say you use the NPP pink sheet, and Ukraine say a scam.
Okay.
To work with it, and as we hear now, the NDC themselves, so say the Omobonjo so say you use just one party, and Ukraine the original pink sheet, but a scanned pink sheet, and in all of this, also say protection. Ghana police MR protection, and you'll be able to call the election for whoever won. What are we doing to ourselves as a people? Are we not still going around the same situation without a clear pathway?
It's true because it's a problem. Electoral commission elections now, you know how we do our election, even at the electoral area. These are things that are done publicly. Electoral commission, on what basis are they telling us our pink sheet ira? The pink sheets, you give copies to all the participants in the elections. So say electoral commission pink sheet ira, NDC pink sheet or MPP pink sheet or other political parties. There were people on the ground who observed the process and as for if they are really serious, they really want to do a transparent process involving all the actors because find a pink sheet. Getting people to agree is another thing. So in your process to recovering these things, you involve all these actors in the process. So the eventual outcome now will be accepted by all.
Exactly.
And so if say electoral commission pink sheet other political parties pink sheet then you send something fishy. You understand?
Exactly.
Something fishy has gone on. And it's obi pink sheet can be the first pink sheet I know be the process was it captured on video. What are some of the so I think that you see the inefficiencies in our electoral process prior to the elections but people thought not Jean Mensah and not other people but you see some of these processes as a phenomenon. It's very sad. Ghana, a journey from 1992 to where we are. We've gone through a lot of transitions. Unfortunately for us, we've been very kind to ourselves. Encounter any violence.
Exactly.
We think it's okay. But trust me, you put your electoral process under a microscope. Now you review critically, you could see that there are a lot of deficiencies that we need as a people to address because and then a year working over a time will come. Some of these petty misunderstandings as if may generate into something bigger. And say electoral misunderstanding that part of the world now are creating a lot of graveyard in Africa. All the from Sudan as a result of some of these things. You understand? So I think we need to take cue from some of these things. Now you move on as a country. Say some of these petty things are ever happen. How do we address them?
Exactly.
But we don't avail our mind to some of these things. We will catch us say it's a constituency now, about 99%. We are done. The process was successful, and that was okay. It will take just a constituency or an electoral area to start the fire in this country. And if you are not careful, it will consume the entire political, democratic way you set it up. So for me, I think if there is anybody to blame, it's the Electoral Commission.
What will be your recommendation moving forward? Say, you know, NDC for someone dear in their minds, here, say 62 of the polling stations, you know, rerunning elections, you know, yes. Because they say, you know, they will not accept that narrative, say, some scanned copies bina be used in their kekeka.
Yeah.
The MPP is also firm on the situation, say, one about one 62 no scan now mona I say akabe 3 pen just so that they complete the whole discussion, you know. Sa almost scan copies, you know, are legitimate enough to be the game changer in helping resolve this whole matter in the space. So say no advisedly no DM na ubetimi akatre empenifo money electoral process ni the kekeka.
So I think we need to do a broader stakeholder engagement that level. Now you make sure we review the process, because this particular year's elections, you know, I give us a certain template. Maybe over the years, you know, we thought everything was okay. But this year, some of these fallout, you know, I give us a template. So going forward, you know, what are some of the things that we can do to resolve some of these things? Because there are some constituencies I bet you say pink sheet we say media ira because nipa no nim say lose elections and now anko ya mana pink sheet no better than the baby. So who is that person who is monitoring just to ensure that we get a credible document bet me to baby at the end of the day no obi abeti ase. You cannot conduct an election in an open space and tell me say pink sheet ira. And I said nobody at the area no.
Especially when by law krano na say omu post to pink sheet no the polling station ho. I'm surprised.
Yes.
And a two. She say eja almost jacoto and yes almost po ye na ye huni. Eja to baby ana I say holding place ya electoral commission materials no. Esanko keeping it for some time.
Yes, because the most paramount key thing at the center of this whole thing, so that particular thing now is an inherent constitutional power that has been granted to that person.
Exactly.
No flimsy excuses, any justification will be back to take away that particular thing. So at any point in time, we are voting in the central thing, it has to be guided and has to be protected. So some of these inefficiencies in a creating around can just make it say vote in any panakwakotono ayira and I kwash for no apparent reason. For me, I think that these are some of the things I say now your monitor process who say beyond pink sheet, you know, what are some, because pink sheet are papers. So it means that we are not going to have access to anything, that the election should be declared null and void. It doesn't make sense. So for me, I think that we need to move a step further. I give you a certain template, say that I don't know who mistakes and now build upon it. And this thing that has happened, I said we need to go beyond just pink sheet, paper. We need to build a system. Say that here, even if it's about even recording the counting process, then you will have a video evidence. You understand? Video evidence. The man for phones. Can you delete it? Yes, sir. So as soon as these are some of the things, because pink sheet, me pink sheet me who we must sign, you know, I take over all the place. But if there is something you bet me going forward, say the video, the electoral commission, the camera, I say you video the process, and I say something. I bet my who say apart from the pink sheet, you know, there is something out there. I bet give you us that evidential value in terms of some of these things. And yes, people will always try to exploit the weaknesses of some of these things because and then I walk away or chinabino and kobasa and I never be a yeti nipa no mo hana ye dinner more consistency ye dinner more MP in terms of development. What do they do? You understand? And fortunately for us, and I say fortunately or unfortunately, you think so. Some people went 4 years without they would have win 6 months. But we know that a clear infringement of your constitutional provisions, and we can't just sit. So I think the Electoral Commission need to wake up, no making sure that some of these things will be addressed. Whatever it is, they need to move in just to make sure they declare whoever that won that particular election. If they think results no munya, fractured and cannot be used, and now parties involved don't agree. Now say even running our those constituencies, they should just to get the people. My paramount interest is getting the people a representative. That is the most important. Everything beyond that,
I was saying Ivan na Otenikano, Ivan Che innocent na Otenikano. Mensaka Miami Abema Farouk Osman. we a national communication team member de ma NPP Amayokio no ntino Farouk Bogode
this year dey chia ye home dey
why the brutal why brutal
be experience you learn from a lot of mistakes
exactly
in life na kasa na your course and you take it so it's one year right and put the right measures you will never pass the course
exactly
so we are still trying to learn the system we find ourselves
great
so
ema kwa babi na enkomo na wabetu so ina ye hwe sedia ye nyina no as a nation no ye bekoso a building nation no because Ghana should be the paramount winner in all of this conversation me sure so me ya adwene sa Ablekuma North ensem ne ye ken 6 months down we are still talking about the same thing obia hunu what is happening in the space from baby wotie no what is happening e dey na ekoso
okay medals mada wa hwefo ase no woti for no ti what intercession no ndawmas na yenda Ghana fo a omagibre agidwa omohwe CTV let me say infringing on somebody's right and people's right is not about squeezing or maybe trying to make the person uncomfortable but this is human rights a drum nipa bi na nyagidie bi say yento abama osimase na obrentin no mbedi enim na enhihye pa ye pe wo ye constituency ha no emfa ne so na ye sanka Ablekuma North is I think next to my constituency. I've been the deputy youth organizer for Country Central for 2 times under party Boadu.
Okay.
I was last year's elections election be a BC like even John Mahama, His Excellency Akasa, was say Abana he knew we will win, but not up to this extent.
Yeah.
So elections here, say something can say you know you politics to change. The dynamics of that very election was extraordinary. Nobody understands that very election that went on. But maybe at times to a craft for no to money for. And now we are all learning to be politicians or good ones, not just think about Ghana first. Yes. Not your party, not my party. But if you say mine ebe kon kan be dey nim say third world dey second year first you do baby and pompon so be aka say oto wa ba no ye kan machine bi kan ye ncho. That's why we have the scan copies. We have the scan copies after everything I assign we no ucha picture now easy for so scan it. They also have their copy of what should in case they may be saying tina easy for so many scan copies. So na be ya abani say na two parties no munti omo ase omo hu de omo ye no na mu no as the referees Mamba say after elections these are the scan copies that we had from each and every polling stations. So in all say can say be come deeper then we can say easy for so because easy you know a referee. Yes. In so the election is becoming heated. Now you have to protect human interest and people's among for vote to obi sorry to no pa na go we also say 5 o'clock at to aba na when to me am you as the EC why is your interest? Yeah. As a one you that's what I say because me the MPP ni upaka ni nyaka say me dia bepe and this because ni they also pay. But you as the referee play neutral. They only say no after everything omo battle their pink sheets near there but me as the EC I have the certified the friend saying pink sheets we want scan copy with me phones like they said almost your more scan copies number use scan copies in there you use like 3 police stations even without those 3 police stations the MPPs are winning. Okay. So why wouldn't you give them the chance at least to accumulate the right things that's supposed to be accumulated? Nanka yenya figures name. After all, Ablekuma North has been in the hands of the MPP for not today. So winning, the woman has tried. I'm telling you, the woman have not tried a lot because who saw Yejuma or Ye former Juma. Excuse me, let me say, some of our people were very complacent about your power until you win a higher stronghold. Imagine saying this, you lose to Domiko Abenya. It tells you about signal. So the big cost of this is and let's say lose to a country south. Because these constituencies are strongholds. And say the Dakra be winning. But Emirates will say, oh, to a banomate. It is also some agro would and yet it's now Babajina by campaign by MPP. No, Obi or Pegana see MP. Or minor Koswa or Bedi. Now without Ghana, where is MPP? Without Ghana, where is NDC? Ghana Moon MPP. Into a best easy. At times, but actually, also declare a month for dignity, a month for good, Yaman security. So what is the president current? What will you do now? I'm not a council of parliament are still you hold the front of the parliament. So why wouldn't you allow this very one constituency? Oh, fine, let it go. After all, even up to now, 3 polling stations. They bear me. So my career research will ground 3 polling stations. I say to abandon the class, let me do me. And they more power because they are strong goals of the MPP.
Okay.
Ask yourself why are they not pushing for certain say 3 polling stations not kind of pen. Then 2 have any bill. Now I mean, I say you voters ID card be trouble who be ambe toraba. Omo tu wi ayanka ne nhwe because the honey can count omo nim into no person man wan say enfa count because the EC has the first scan copy.
I see.
The pink sheets. So in this no say yankasa ye ha Ablekuma North for no in a way.
It's unfortunate.
You know be we were EC now. Say man ni fa mu di no say you say and this for the campaign EC be you no mu be you na be you fine but money na djuma we am be you na mo.
Exactly.
But the motion say money security no find na djuma no declare who tina amount for far on this so any no na wo ha
okay
who tina amount for far on this see na recently Jessica Echama MP some of education sector Jessica almost 30 million and they are each
Ablekuma North so far
you see Ankolan tourism without MP
yes
at least me say me constituency say I was part of the team I got chair masset the demand students it encourages also we have somebody because here you help am meet you more fee more masset obo am be sure mo din after everything he came there sharing yoga sharing water for them to ride their eyes
okay Mami ndawase
this is no man kwa no nye le djuma all
right Abuzia Farouk Osman NPP communication team member and mete Martin Nkano we very brutal ai solo mami ma wakwaba
doc
Solomon Owusu
abedru
movement for change
yeah be party
senior man
party Sadi esu party na be mo awie.
They say mo nyam license no.
No enche kra.
Ti se mo mini.
O na office e ba agro dia na. Dia tira me sora na me tie. Na nka me adwuma nsan. Ye wie ya ye ko election say na 12 candidates na e contest.
Sir.
Ye wie o mo na ka onyina o so mo go for kasa.
Sir.
MPP ni and this MPP go to ba to be omba. But there be some from me ameba.
Oba.
Me gire mu gire because adwuma na.
Is more focus, more vision.
Yeah, the way is be focus. You have go for me to serious also after there. General me to say go for we have some free moon. Or how determined our souls are. And come move me agro.
I see. Ya nkwaso na Ablekuma nsam ya na me pesa wo take akra na afi you run some other areas in mu ye. I mean, what is happening? At the end of the way forward. Me pesa wo hwe the way forward to all of this enkomodie.
But as we share menuanuma Moshia Ivan Ude Michel
Farouk Osman yeah.
The share was watching.
Pa
About my binio.
Oh yeah. But you was so. So
Mungwa kudi o mungwa de befio.
Solo.
Mungwa to no mo ye party.
Solo yen dey. Now Ablekuma North in 7 weeks.
So Jani. Me feel say the first year or so yet to solve some problems. Also coach district electoral officer and returning officer.
Returning officer.
Prosecutor immediately. They have to be prosecuted. It's a crime against humanity. Because you see, me tese me nua Farouk kase almost scam copies. And yen be scam copies the dey adimo. And then yen this is scam copies. In fact, omumi no class scam copies, so betimi akoshe no emfa him. But the body mandated to organize our election. One no original pink sheet in kwani here a matter in all this. On any pink sheet way.
Initially obeka say ntokwane ye yi no omo yira no omo echire e no obeka say omo hu bi
anadwuma na se oboa. You see corruption no e wuremu na part of a grand agenda. A business gone bad. All of a sudden, electoral commission on organizing election this would need the original pin sheet. If this can't copy, it's called Quenibi. And Tian Cochino. But they say returning officer back, you knew baby and Obeka on your what paper and say, oh, paper, go once. No, what's the cry?
That returning officer, no, and say, oh, no, he's not ready to use either a scanned copy or whatever copy be. omo de be man so on fan
omo go chen immediately
ono ye so on fan nya adwuma later ye need dey see ye na fe o say okay just so the peace be bani ade ntino obehwe na wa ye collation no
omo go chen no he has a lot of questions to answer.
Na ma kuntokwana we dwane for the life.
Who dwane for life? Your man returning officer on a area more gets in a son or the chrom. Ti omomano enkoyina. He has to be prosecuted.
Okay.
Now, who to be prosecuted also was extending one the recruiters are returning officer.
Yeah, electoral commission.
Fantastic. A dear due diligence no more ye. And I'm the recruit you. Monsono. Say Jean Mensah de be fear the catcher say, oh no, meeting the press and end day. You man the own to me yet. Or no, you man own to me yet. We had a day, Obama become for no call. No, so I'm a quotation, a chat to so we could start. I don't know. Or my quotation be a chat to own to me yet.
I see.
So the prosecution, because what is going to happen is future elections, the Uncophobia answer. Omone isi de beko nakrana eba am se show or resource almost omuluzu elusua no machine now mama tax akwa attack back the other side no ma jomo de no so ahye na ka one side pe o se de ye scan copies and you rely on de no.
We can continue like that.
Entina very important say you prosecute this returning officer and the district electoral officer send your beya or more any punishment or more obi a wokwakoye returning officer in any elections no obi say sema mo me bre ya send your to akwesi no e betumi so to me.
Okay,
very important.
Okay,
now beyond that you know mo bi and this will be say you can rely on a free years scan copies onya de okay can matter so can one too many onya kakra nobody is going to accept that. Nobody will also accept a Rabna Obin's scan copies. So the only reasonable thing that or say a rerun
for the 62 no?
Yes, or 7.
Okay, all right. Abuzia Solomon Usu Movement for Change senior communication team member and also Ede Nadin so Abano. After ye ko yen 70 mu yen hwe ni say mame mfa Farouk mame no started with this one. Ndra MMDCs no mampeni bo mudini no onya kwenya no ne omo akwa share di nkomo. In fact omo ye orientation and training be for them just so say omo capacity no ebe kosoro sa nhyiemu na say na mampeni kire omo say listen omo up to 15th of July obi and declare ni asset enya afi na ebe ye kasa bebre so ase mo gine say
I thought you know your president is Excellency John.
We have more 5 minutes.
I see him to be historical or Casadodo because first one when the money could be in my who first appointees are in 55 and it medical assets. You don't have any mom dates, mom first 31st or so, no mom 7th or so. Up till now, they've not declared. So who are the MCs and MMDCs? Someone could declare by July. Me who first one year command declare. Impending for now, Kasa, or Mudida do mine and the man and the district spec. No Muda, I so can't go not. We have only one municipal, or no sure that constituency is no so. In because of nobody declaring asset and asset in how huge. We work asset no need. We work in the family house. Then you more appointment one stone is how much family house on party and on appointment. In the have no family ways and means on some property. In asset in the way no go declare. You see, we should not tickle ourselves and laugh. Ma'am, I'm pending you know this and then I'm mobile and before from. It's something we've been in it and we know. We know what it entails. So our leader and be beside him. Ghana dey tell. Inti assets now see and the government ministers, MPs, titru for na CEOs nkese na sika nkese we twegu am ho no krampo no. Omo assets up to now. Omo declare. Also pamo bi mo. Ompamo. Me hu say leadership by example. What example was so ho MC's name this is the who are they? Obi wo be wo me bi kitu ebi no wo. O hwe so. Nje ngo so asset na wo dey yi. Obi wo ho ni bi. And I make up my friend Dean the MCs be appoint Joma. Omo chom family house. Ono kasa si ni fie. Nje bi say asset be no ko. Na party no ko declare na car no use no ko.
Na uni bi a still and so be indicate say.
And I make an entity with what he saying can no can say ahese no mun declare mu yempeni for mu yankese wo mu na ko declare it will entice the other cells. We mun pen for declare obi an declare no obrintin apamo no obrintin man suspension obrintin agidi salary fi so say oh ampa papa ni abro but bia wo kan enu kura no dodo no nye nti omo wo kasa mo ye Ghana fo na wo pese o ka kire te Ghana fo mu say waka ba mo nye kura na ndaji you are there ya nya de sa wo kasa ma no nye say ya kasa yi omo a data o de ma omo no etwam obi enu o apamo no obi enu o suspend no obi enu at say wagidi salary 3 months so 3 months dey go mama cares no up to now on the obi salary so then
be an say one way ana
omo ba cho say the friend says why ya ye no be ka kire say Ghana for me ma declare mo asset oh kwa mosi wan declare imagine dwuma free nsem we ku Muhammad ono so wanyi dentima mapamo no ana e bia imagine salary 3
because a typical example was the Deputy Minister for Defense a year Brujajen by say he's not declared but all the evidence by say you know correct or posti or Facebook ne wo so mo bi ehun say is done
na media is one nya attention somebody be near the crack
sir
nti sabule dey visit or declare or how dey fire ho but ye gogo ye no dey nya ye omo declare omo asset do any date now na still onya hwe mfa ho we have it here we have the records here
okay
nti say o ha na o say omo MCs na omo tete o mantwa omo chempa mo fie no omo ko declare asset dey we no ko declare the guys say onya hwe so people man fa so ni be diga nti obe edman na bi obe nya mfa so ho na obe si fie ni bi obe si dey so you should not impose some declaration of assets on just MCs and MDCs it doesn't say
appointees ni nyina
appointees na sika form nsem no waka omo anye then why ya for example ben wa show example ne so apam obi
okay yan hwei ebia na in the coming days in better hunga Ivan
yeah
some common way na nkasa me I have my own appreciation of as asset declarations and seven na dia ye de share envelope mu aye yesu hunu de wa twere kura wo nso de what edia na stop who say ya appoint will be declare as say man pani be ma deadline answer
yeah I think say an internal democracy ya ka say a journey ya kono yesu ya ne makoye nim so say obi de na asset share envelope no the cop na say yembie so hwe ya assemble there be say nipa na bokro no then the state is mandated to go for that particular document for evidence sake so the mere fact that yembie so na yembie so no no to certain extent for clarity and for transparency purposes no sometimes privacy is also there in the assemble say ya de to me ma we na wanya property we ya commission na ya de sa ankrata na command ya kofa yet no a the womb and what you have acquired for me whatever value be a womb and the purposes that particular thing is intended to solve you understand so that one day I think say and you see a part of the process is was a bit me a deepen accountability and transparency in our governance system because in the last years I see some individuals decided to capture this particular state, own the state, and even sell the state for their own benefit. You understand? And on I inform Ghana for why, because going forward, certain measures has to be taken just to ensure that is the reason why President Mahama making a priority. And I mean, because I declare way in Rule 65. That is a lie. I think that he should check his fact very properly before he says anything about that, because Nipa na first estate. Fourth estate, declare this our list no crab no. There were a lot of them are not more declared that by mistake, and I think so would a cause. And those are President Man deadline. I think that some sanctions have been meted to them. Salary, no. I think that the first 3 or 4 months for me that is enough to start with. You understand? And you see, these is, are the implementers of the larger government policy at the local level. You understand? Very often, no, any attention, but these are key individuals. Say, a buy no, Jumadina Odino, a back can't nipa no more grants now. It's the DCs. There are some people in your DC and not being some pie no boy, and Abamano, and I say, Wabre party reward and in Saka. So very often you see most of them, the DC man, no across them, no across white, near 2 pound of good so but this is a responsibility as our best level. It's not an opportunity, so we fear so these are some of the things that we need to inculcate into the people. Understand, say fine. As part of the process now starting property be will behind declare. And you see there is no law anywhere just say if you auto papa you can be DCE. You understand? The law says what you have declared. If you don't have, there is no problem. So the fact that independent and if you want to papa and yet enough to bar the person from taking over public office. You see, it's unfortunate say there is this mindset within our politics. Answer na you need to own an estate. You need to own a fleet of cars and then as a form. But governance leadership has nothing to do with an individual wealth. You understand? Because I have vision and a bit me a driver. So very often out there, the very people are leading a live legacy na nkasa I had no money, they don't even have anything. Because Kwame Nkrumah about Nkrumah in a bag in a buy, he didn't have anything. I think that the plain fair crowd about being a chairman. Now Pobia, what me leave a lasting impact, a footprint on the political history of this particular country. Kwame Nkrumah, ne die wa the estate die wa. So the fact that obiting and ancha and as for I don't know, it doesn't matter. You understand? For me, I think that the most important thing is making sure that corrupt practices over the years and at the district level and as a form you making sure that there will be proper and punitive sanctions that are available. Say nipa na ye we ya immediately now. I don't like this practice of nipa na be krono sha ban no ma just ban for back and sana yehu within the government now there must be systems in place. A bit me, I filter, I check some of these individuals over the years. I'm a corruption and as for your rampant. See, to me, yes, I need money, I check his money. For me, I think they bet me, I am a fight corruption to quite a because I never acquired DNA Ukruma has to do with some of these things because people think that we need to be in power because the party the alliances and the relationship will be Madam for the president in Ametia. They don't think that they are accountable to the people. For me, I think that this whole asset declaration thing is important, but it doesn't mean that enough for give us a closure to corruption. We need to strengthen measures going forward. What are other measures in a good place just to ensure say nipa no former abide our power now will make conscious effort to deal with the individual. So we have send a message to everybody out there. Say, there are structures in place dealing with issues of corruption. So we are government appointee. The mere fact that what buying doesn't mean say you get away with it. You understand? So I think that these are some of the things that we need to ensure. And the other anti-corruption measures so the government need to strengthen because and that is what we need to guard against this time around. Say examples in the Ghana for farm in the last few years. About na before na Ghana for the Koto Abano. So Ghanaians will not tolerate any justification and I say any bia. All that they want to see is that the purse of the state, will be protected from individuals that attempt to say almost stealing from the coffers of the state. And some of these measures may not be enough, but I think total commitment on the part of the president and government just to ensure or go after this individual and now setting up some of these things. You were told and do confirm clear on our mind.
I'm in that was it. Solo
Doc,
we also be we are just only number 286.
No, I'm maybe
Article 286. Clear. I don't understand any maybe.
What a constitutional provision. Exactly. They are not the Yafina or Benian too for Crow also. Or the Babat Benoya. So because we declare as a tier, their kosher envelope. And no, let's say when declare because we are going to it is all your public officer, everything must be clear. Now, you see, the BIA car, you share assets in Kwano.
Liabilities,
liabilities count.
But the constitution is clear on that.
Also, we declare assets and liabilities. Catch it in the wood, fashion, young boy, so much was would declare more. Obia Bobessia will bank be a call of Yakonia MMDC. One function or Betica.
And their properties regarding not even quiet in their names.
Family members. You all crowd with this property and anticipation. What trust a mess?
Apart from that, Mitiwe, we will die back. I don't know actually.
Just over
Mazu, I see a man 1 month say prepare asset in February.
I think there must be a way to verify.
No, constitutional provision has to be verified.
Yes.
If beyond that, also we evaluation be our home. I say, sound your money now, you can copy free a man on it. But you did, man. You are no debate, man, and Casso, no baby tea. To a better Casso, I don't have a problem, no.
Yes,
yeah, one running in a look, our constitution, the BNC amendi. Or we as our constitution in such a way, being reasonable person leading this country, reasonable people manning our institutions, send you be ya, or the periphery be ya. But Nancy, in your message, see, actually, say, why see, I'm funny, maybe I can come and go for people who are reasonable. One Tiana work for the Becca and I miss one dice on Gusi Cathedral to a Tomo Manisika Gusi Cathedral. Moti Tiana President Bia Bob the Catcher saying Yamiasun dice, one change Munia to Nay, will be changing. Tiosi legislature say no president should change any human being to a nay, yes or baby.
Solo.
Omunya, so, eti, clear. Oman Penny Adia Wake 15 July. One more enough time.
Enough.
I think say no this year be a vessel would you be no what me actual. Now they acquire head nekwe. And yet they betija. Nyana NSA National Service Authority ATJ.
Yes.
Me say Andre ya me wona me bank ba ko bi send me say huri adeya o mo capital ya o mo kuta no. O manya shareholder this can be a beckan. Oh. I could do say I'm music now when you could do 548 million. I swear. But the text message in nature, which I made me jump through. Now, Omokasa, na a click here, Miss Nasa 548. I don't know this guy as go for national service. And I said, a beer banker, a social bank. Mr. already would you read the second best, last by the second best? What do you bank in a free?
Oh, okay. I say we have noticed that some instant pay transactions made to
no, the second one, last but one message is called the last but one.
Dear valued customer, some exciting news for you.
Some exciting what?
News
for you.
Our shareholder is injecting an additional $35 million. Taking Bank Ghana's bank in the member. Ghana's capital well above 548 million Ghana cedis.
Fantastic.
This will boost our lending capacity.
This will what? Boost. Bank, catch them say exciting news. The exciting news is say when your shareholder ni bakwa, what the $35 million become musical Ghana. Na eno ne saisi omusika omo nyina nkulu ya kasa omo asese so a adan ya ka ho nyina o pen omo trom kra ka omo asese e be ma na kwa kodu 548 million Ghana cedis some coins
beyond the threshold kra o
na mimiti kroman ya ka chem national service in totofe one choto wo hwo mo nim ne omo so mo di sika na omo wia yet 548 million Ghana cedis according to the Attorney General.
Yes.
That's a second. No, any bank, the so bank for, but this bank is considered as one of the biggest banks. You Kromwa. National Cathedral, $58 million. All the funds say the rate here 10 cities. Say, and 580 million. Yeah. And no soon see we. And also am I another first class bank. SML between 2018 to 2024. Offer 1 billion and also can be 2 banks. Kaya another banks. Here kwe ni muno no.
Cathedral.
Walugu die you combine with bank we no so mo call London akwa ye stock exchange here and nkwa almost 24 million.
Asset no so.
And the asset a year king and the shen go for botomi. Ever said this if one no muntie di o man pedini kan yi. Okay. Ye ne mo na team potemu. Mo fire ni.
Okay.
Abayi Makachiam say for one of the former administrators of your friends say common fund. This is assembly common. And Adam you be a wa progu is legal. Me kwa kwachira hey.
And what you saying?
This is almost getting free common fund never.
Yeah, that's it.
Omo face ka no.
Yeah, that's it. When you say undi bre ntino me jaw. Na afi ya to me ne innocent ne Farouk. Atwa nkomotion so enche Listowel so ebe join here nana kusi na yene no edi nkomo ewo saa kwa ne so. Ivan, my ento so na yenhwe. Ende the honorable Boachi Jako, the conversation free the neck MPP among you no ekushia somewhere yesterday was enrichi and on mobile on my TSS on my Shisha or more him say on the 19th in a Omodebeko conference now for consideration. One of the key things is that say Omo him say Omo flag bearership na batuano by January no one more edibeba said the bear choka. They've given a plethora of reasons in tia sajuni no Omo pese Omo konisa. Your take Agbako Jaku is on record to have said say sebi sa nshishe no penifo de aba no ono no nyanse bi animu. It doesn't make sense. In fact, he describes it as very nonsense. Okay. In plain words, he didn't miss words about it. What's your take on that?
I think Zanka whether a few or hide or Koswaka Yatimia can be, but anyway, let me work on it. I think say with a political party be a institution on its own, guided by rules, regulations, and as for regulation rules in the woman, and a year. So at this point, MPP as a political institution are going to an election, and they suffered the most humiliating defeat in the history of this country. We saw the anger because of Nemo Muye in the last 8 years. Ghana for so ordinary, any normal political party will just sit down, review Nema go wrong, Nema and go wrong, and how we patching Nema. Catch when you lose power, you don't only lose power, you lose goodwill. The relationship between you and the people, getting disconnected. So patching up means you are reconnecting with the people. So that goodwill will return you. It do can't summer among for the fall serious. At this point, MPP by opposition, I haven't seen that particular thing because there seem to be that belligerent posture, that arrogant kind of bit, still a woman form. So that goodwill, I expect a Ghana for extend to them. Sometimes some of the things they complain about are very legitimate. Some people have criticism, several more can be a pass move, but I'm saying goodwill and falling to their part because of still sitting on high horses, people will brandish them, move through, necessarily move free power, and then you see that kind of thing. So as a political institution, you need to sit down, review, they go wrong, they go right, and then as a forum. And that include doing the stakeholder engagement. MPP say, or more elections number next year. As an institution, they have every right to do that. You understand? Because my culture say, we have to share now they are now. But the thing is, within the party, consultative process now will go through. Does it include OBR there? Because a leadership in place, and all the right to make such decision. But don't forget that decision, our collective consequences are triggered down to OPR. And the question is, decision are people really going to accept it? And for me, from where I sit, say MPP kase or more elections now by 2026.
Yes,
January.
31st January.
Now say omo kwa kotoaba ayi flag bearer without going through the process of year to district constituency regional anyway it's a problem. Yes, obi abetimi aka say party is not stable at this time because we they need leadership. Are they telling me say party chairman or your leader? General Secretary is not a leader. Because the president or the flag bearer only become a leader when you are now your fans say Yatu Obama as president.
Yes.
You understand? At this time, I think that the party leadership need to patch the pieces. Now we're making sure say they are able to amend the party to a certain extent. Not election next or because some you be to candidate upon leadership now last year. Na omo campaign for Baumiana. There are the same people in place. So what can't you say? Young Concoto about at this time, it means that the same executive no more for a particular candidate. And there's a particular agenda just to ensure that candidate wins the elections. And Ablekuma, all the executive, most of them, about 80% of all the executive were out there, regional chairman and as a phone, they were campaigning for Baumia. So what has changed? Do you think that this time around things will change? It's the same thing. So it's the same 2026 or 2020 elections. It's a repeat of it. And that is where a robbery fairness from this whole process. And I'm sure that is the reason why Boadu Jaco is very angry because the normal practice in say step by step
from police
new executive there is a reason for that. Say new ones will have the leadership a year go into the next line. By different people are going to elect the flag bearer. Different people will come as leaders at the constituency. What will be the kind of how
Yeah, but this remains a proposal.
Okay.
And me hunu the intia was say I mean
no, a proposal with a definitive a proposal with a definitive date. What's the date I got to aba? And the decision.
But that will be affirmed.
Yes.
Congress or conference actually.
And make us a conference.
And the conference can decide that.
Both NCPP, you know how you take a decision. And the key people now, or reject this proposal. They are the very people who so you think they are going to reject it. And for me, I will not take away the MPP right as a political party to decide what they think is right for them.
Okay.
Because a party, whatever they decide to do, they have every right. And some are making
okay.
But sometimes when you are working with human beings in the way, you need to make sure that will be accepted. Sabi I won't spring this surprise because there are several people in the coming days they will come up. Because for me, when I met in China as a candidate, I may go into election like me, a candidate Japan, and I may any of other people. I will be sensing, say it might not be justifiable, but I will have the notion, say, idea way there is a ploy. More just to impose a particular candidate on us because these are the people that on more grounds, you know. They are the very people who campaign for Baumia. They declared for him. You understand? So I think that they need to just ensure say in being opposition, getting everybody on board.
Okay.
And for me, I think that is what they should be doing because are people who got peeved and they withdrew from the party. And Kawabo oppositioning, these are the time and you engage these individuals. And even with Alan Crown, you see, political party sometimes it's not about assuming a belligerent poster giddy. Sometimes you need to cave in, engage people, and with your mother because political parties are about numbers, and these are so I think that they are able to another time if they are able to do some of these things. My conversation
Maminda was Ivan. Youth activist ya or born home modern year pa onona mama minda senior man me man akwaba so they will soon die there Listowel Nana Kusipoku was executive director at the Good Governance Advocacy Group Ghana Wabekansa Enchebiano yebete ono so nka Farouk asem ne da police we
no always last elections, you encounter a lot of because of Yankee and Antu and yes, I am in as an Awokan, we are very, you know what you are doing, you know what time you say. And you silly that too often you are Mika last 3 years, I call conference or massive. You have a blue word, the home command, so I'm manifesting and yet. In some minutes, now I will be tied to train our force. I say, Jacob, politics, you know, Jacob, until you die, you have the right to go. Now, because every elections, you have a which don't the money, or ye or for the whole Ghana person who's a Ghana for the interview now, on top of a million at Tiara.
Yeah.
It's your person who the problem, reasons why a Ghana for Buffalo and the polling station for the injury about Miasi or Koto or Kodanko for us, doing Tiasiana. Master, you go and thank the good people of Ghana who killed and voted for you. And now occupy crop for Fuso Echel. That's why Baumia went to that talk. One cause of churches, but at times, you know, as some are any other dancer and some who be a dancer. Into if you are corner of Copacho, others no people be sent a question, they are definitely a sort of church, I say, and our church, a moon, I say, a party. Some of me are losing a party, you need people. To make sure you put the right measures. Say, ammunition are one, don't want to do it. You make me out one wedding. Party. Last year's elections are equal. Now, near Man CC, the polling station constituency, the region, the national vote for the normal. Up down, polling station, Google food, and I say, I'm a delegate, and I am forced on the best here. I'm just on the best here, and so stay and delegate. Sans before even pieces and even MPs so crime elections crime before and as we MP or 100 PC only MP only piece na some year adwuma but e bi buafu me Ablekuma North dey nyina problem nyina bika Sheila also girl here be take over me boano me nyedwuma ma no think about the elephant. Think about the party, not the individual that is coming. Sheila tells, let's assume, say, Boadu so Ablekuma North, it's add up to our numbers in parliament. and at least my vibrance akra. But say who say me one because of me lose primary sinti in Crawford. Me I know people be know they were offshore. They were not working for the party because of Enyesila quote na eko. Nse free na eko the idea. But MPP osono no ye hwe. Say me na me be gina ho na nim say wo post no MPP a. Dey na my kwa ni be na so ni no. Be bia na so wo no.
Nti incommodity abay concerning mo proposed date.
Yeah, proposed date. Yebeko conference. A lot will happen. A lot of amendments will be made at the conference. A lot of amendments. Initially, class almost say other like youth organizer deputies we better so aba organize. Be a coach na adwene. But after actually adwene neck court na meeting, this is the proposal of the ababonche. So your amendments are ebe you answer. Conference within the conference final. The be to akoso kwa ka woni na ko wi kra be conference na be na ho a ya mfa nshembrem. When the document in the year to an guide towards 2028 elections, yeah, per se, any man, the before ba, month of bufu, yeah, we are me, yeah, me say, but to be brave. So, never I am quite say, run a better showdown, yeah, the other day, and I said to me, rubbish is money, as a party. Say, I already say, I said, we have chance here, and I'm the member. Obia, I'm telling you, in politics, don't underrate anybody. Obia what numbers. The least person that you underrated would surprise you because numbers okitano. I say I know bring mama MPP mu asa mu be ya kakra. You want uniform added numbers. No matter what, just get them on board. Let's grow together. And the elephants should be the symbol. It should not be the individual. Elephant know that when you say elephant, you need to be here. Anywhere the elephant passes, you follow. Yeah, see yeah, amendments be, but finally no data, but data they say a number. Yeah. We can change it. Last year they say you're going this way. You say I say going this way. Still, man for trauma. If you could have the right means, I'll be going to nonsense. There are words you don't use out there because let's assume you have the when you're quiet now. I'm not for better you. Opinion to make nonsense or wanting money to me and then obey. So there are things if you are doing, groom yourself from your childhood. So way, you better be any president, the casa, the near, the nanti, and you mission me. Tell me your tinabi, and about me almost recognizing the sound. Then I'm tagging, who yes, you are fan tagging because now Ukraine mudium because only nature now. But Ukraine mudium, send a bear and I don't confirm to you, not from the target. I have got elections. Say, in China, elections, I'm going to go be a nation.
All right.
So in all, after the conference, we will see.
You see, be a free member. All right. Farouk Medase. Senior man, in about 10 minutes, because one 7 year MMDC's lifeline, President Diama concerning Omo declaration of Omo assets. Then what we can so there and so kakra AMPP conference here away anyway.
Obi kan say asempai ama me check for ne enu ma bigafo
e do so am do so pa
as usual memo abaso so na adwuma so
that's it
na yema obaya titi so yakọ
sa
ejewu de ya na ehadwe ti e ma na yakọ pa na doc asset declaration meaning the inter was a topic because Penny Cassari is a penny Garibian insurance.
Okay.
Say, on Pesse, a bayer, and Senahose, or buy an crown, or I am high, Ama, appointees, and declare my assets. I say, so share in the history of the Fourth Republic. A buyer, a pamphlet, a declare my assets. Pie, a radio mama buy.
Exactly.
Now, when you cry, will go a step further, say, for the punitive measures be a good. A coin
so one ya.
A combassa, one yet, near one. Penny betting was. Now, Uramahama or track records be brave, say, or they train on one party mass. The most popular one of all, a year. They are a year in relation to Abu Gapele. Enti meaning say so koye na ne soafo ana say na pamfo bi wo baabi sector bi na waka che say ye we na wanya ɛho asotwe wo eti me de me so me de be ye futuo de ama omo a omo nyeye mom say obi wo hono mu a oni hwe ena oba aben ko declare say oni hwe obi wo so a o bibi a obepese obema ada edi say we na me wo usu ko declare most often no obi wo hono a o ni fie but oni ebi a enkrata ebi a asase krata na say krata betima kire say fie we ya media. There are so many homes in Ghana omuni title omuni krata semwa omu betimi di adanse say dan we ya media na eno so tro na yehu say wo dan wa ha na imomu ni krata esan say bia manso kra wo asase ne ho ana bibi saa nneoma no nyinaa no ebeboa ma enkoba se daachi bi omampani sebi obekwa akotwe na aba na afi na odesam nti mo nye de se fata na mo hwɛ de odi kan no na mo nsuane nante sanse do mahama ne huni sebi efindia na quickly menko amayuko ana medomo a afi de me se okase me member kura na me do be kokko
afanya butre asemba Farouk si nya butre
asemba nya butre
abutre ne de
asemba nya butre mo be ni bo na mo ye ese ne nkola so be
ntiane se MPP amayuko anenke amayuko papa nenka omudimu sebi nenka omo wo brebi anke betimi edia ama omanfo edia agina so ato abama MPP but see here as MPP wo hoyi a criminal institution. Oh, everything about MPP is criminal. No, it's a fact.
Debi gumu kakramo.
Mintimi gumu. Esan say
criminal.
Me papa tete me no se me nka no kure kofum se me wo.
Na dia no moya onto me criminal.
It's more than a criminal institution. But I've been charitable.
Utremu say.
Bibi bia omo ye mfie nwotwe mu bia ye bone a etia adasa. Bibia omo so omo ye papa ni mpo na bone tachi. Bibi bia omo ye bia etenya mayoku a wo se otimi nya kokodu kura be gina Ghana fo anim se Ghana fo nto aba ma omo san se ye nto aba ma hwan no criminals debi enya de papa.
It is not fair to describe them as criminals.
They are criminals. I'm telling you,
that's my challenge. That's my challenge.
No, the challenge you can have, you see, Jesus Christ by o say na me ne hwan obi edi ni ho dance here obi a ne na dance di odi fa Yesu no otima
Farouk onye criminal
oh say ye wo bi o wa ne papa ye criminal onye criminal
ento jitu say Farouk onye criminal
oh mi ntimi nya so bo bi afa mo no but obi o support criminal bia no oye criminal in a way
no nim bi o support anti o ka say ono criminal
na obi a wono ti hanu a wo ka kire me say Bawumia ne huni efin bia na Jack where are you when ekofa bai hwe abai we a omuti yi Ghana fo bi betimi afuo mu berebi because obi ti say Bawumia kure ni kwan so otimi pia bonten say oba be kasa say obi nkoto abama no $2.5 million what the beji esika die Bawumia
sesin
ore fi say ye kofa asase GPS a Bawumia say ye leapfrog abia me 2006 President Kufuor pensuna Google for Ghana ha omo peke coordinates ni nyina in fact with the American your friend is saying army no no the Air Force no that was their job 2006 13-14 na meye Uber adwuma I had 12 cars and normally Uber no was it not using GPS and the other than comfort me free car na abegina ofie anim Saturday na wana na present present mama na Bawumia ba no osade abedan ye nkwanta asase asase GPS abeton $2.5 million Ghana cedis dollars $2.5 million at the Ghana for who is he not a criminal This is the man he is campaigning for. I don't know say Boache Jakon. Na why na sabi ewe wi ase a o ka no kreche Boache Jakon. Nonsense na as just nyansa nim. Ana no so just yesa ko school. Oh no kre ne kan ya o. There are things that yesua democracy na e wo se yesua ni ye. Oh, it's not right. Say obi akwaya ade a yem pese ye beka no kra che nipa kro say ade we ya wo ye no se free ho. It's not right. So many yet to say unkwa na say bibia se nyansa nyina kura wa obedi amia say de ba omi ade amia ya what you say nipa na wo kana asem no ono na gdan na ha nyina ye nim so ye trofo pa odi tro as see e kura wo ko fie kura no gusu di tro obi ayire ne ho ama dollar eba fom si di ni gina ne na so o se nyo no na ye wo etira na esi wo konsu ye na nka ye se wo na ye economist abira beboa ma o man sika sam nko yie no udumadi a odi ye ne sen afa na ato mo ne ntase na party no ye be ko ayi omo pa omo nto aba ne kina no mo fa ba omi anya flag bearer. I have been looking for that time say ba omi abesa flag bearer bi enu kwa dia ko benya 22% enu obenya because kaneno na obi a jinidi say owo esubi ne ban bi a enkebetimi aboa ma otimi abeye omampani abedi akire obeye omampani abedi akire no obi ehu say ontwa tawu ato force ni wonye vice president o baby odi dollar ne dru eye adwene eni nyansa ena ekwa akansie ena adwene bu say nyansa say na wo tenabia ne he o tenabia eni ma adwenem enti minimum our shelter edi enti na wo be ka kire me say wo so chen me ena nyansa ka kire adwene say baby amedanko ena mesu ne me ban so enko na mesu ne me ban ti ne ani me enti adwene nko ena de nyansa nko enti adwene de obi atimi nya adwene ni bi da ne tirim ba se nyansa na ye de enam ma obi ahu sa adwene a sabi ewo ho nyansa da mu no eno na atofo sen eye no what I say enti no enye se brabeto to be man keke o de bi enye no ntina
ba medical ka say we no na eye proposal
oh say
na proposal
ade bi okra na yenka oh say tio say yeti hey o ka kire say ye be pon 12 tio yenyina yesu nim say dwumadi ye pon be say nondu abroso an nondu na ka say ye be pon 12 a ebi ana me be me share obi say oh me share after 10
yeah
how do I reconcile that ebi ameti here America say metex ni pakoro say oh you say ye be pon 10 eso so afi o mo say ye be pon 12 meboa
yeah
now edi entina all of a sudden nipa bin maye o madwen say ade a aye traditional a obi anim say ye di enfie mienu a eda ye nim ene ye de hyehyɛ say ye de be flag bearer e wo constitution ni yen ka say 3 years o yes enfie mienu yan ka 3 years sa no mu sisi afoko ne kwabere Japan nom ne same crab no mu a party constitution da ho na afi yes a council of elders say na council of elders no mu nim nyansa che constitution na like how your constitution here then what you say a party a boni na ewo mu no e Kufuor na ahye sa boni ni nyina and waja eje ko ja ba omi ade bi e boni nko a and ono so to aso executive say omo wo hoi so omo pe party ni ye a wo so omo pam omo nyina total overhaul omo yi omo nyina adi anya democracy ni ewom na ehun hia say wo say amayoko bi esa ba e ka amayoko MPP na wo say nkom gu no ba democracy nti e wo say e ka bi ma men ka bi anya say NDC fo so umtrim be yo mo de anya say wo say ka MPP no kom gu no because say me kan na criminal institution say na bio so mo pe party ni animonyam ni nkan kwa e wo se ba omia obi bia wo ba begina na wo wa banda da anim bia na wo so mo pam ni free mu including obia na wo wa banda da anim bia e wo so mo yi ni free because omo nyina mo ne animonyam obi bia ni wonu ma na wo wa banda da anim mu a obetimi aba be justify ade papa ana ade boni ade abanda da ne yeye
sir
yes obia ni wo
you say Brian declare educhum so enra or declare or show interest
enkwan joa na no sin enya bisa no oh enye enkwan na adwoa na kakane party ayese yenya safo ne nidifo party hwani pa omu yiyi omuti wo de wa hwe wo de in estimation
and no more problem
enye problem no there be why na wonim de why na wonya ansa kire me uyi ba omi afiri wa Kene Japan so person e mampani Kene Japan enkwan etimi adwo na we di adwo ma asa ya block
festival
da bi o ene ye se Brian Champion say onu so person e mampani obi a onu timi suma nkwala asem ko bobo atuo wa ya waso weso ogon otimi tu ne hine ne wasi hine wei enkwan ne nyoya pedutum educhim so opeso ye mampani
yeah abona baso
hey MPP mum dia atete apansam
Farouk si ase
ba omia so na be kwanti wunim meti wodi na me say no kura nyame anim ni on okoye krom asanteman mu a on say enam bia friend totobi no on say eye wele a ye dia kodwa so ayanto ena maami bi oye na adwen say odibe kofie na odi akwhye fom na waye ne tese momone na odi ache ne nkwan mu ahwese be ehwama oye ne fae kuzo totobi ne boarding eche wele is the marketing skill of the Ashanti and the totobi boy den chen wele
I see
wele apro ne boarding chen wele etia people di agura o betimi aton totobi ama na kanya sampa Ghana ha yati ba o mia se o betimi aye mampani wo Ghana ha Vice President Kekekre de ma said the Vice President who say ya ma kwan na hwan na be mampani o be ma kwan wo Ghana ha
okay
who cry now the back didn't stop with you no who say ya ma kwan na afei back didn't stop with you and na hwan na Ghana ni be na be ma wo kwan yakufo do ye ma ne kwan ya ma ne kwan
anyway
you know you can see from afar say party no atete apansam and na say nipa benya ahobrasie ne ensi yomu nukredie mu agye atum say ya party di atete apansam enti efi na kremu mie sesa ya kwan na yenko sesa akwadwofo a omo ko ntate anchen na yeko sua na kwan ne ehunu nyansa ne de aboye bra no omo ntena se nye saa o saa ne oma a omo ye a ma party na nim gu ase no e say wa beto atum 31st January obeye election party ko grassroots ne kotie obi anim say by force we person de ba omi aba okay me no enya me ya mani beje papa omo fa ba omi amra obese de emia de tosu mienu ba ko no ntase na ye no we de mesi na ni su be bri no ma obetwa ahwe se konfo
listen wa me na wase
de tosu biem
wa me na wase
ma no sie no omampani John Mahama enel asema me de betu dia no mesre no se
onkum
oma sebi na ni nko ho na nkofo ewie sika eko omo abotom
okay
at the expense of the state yeska the bumai yeska the ayoma ye
me dey say
MPP track record back no state capture no omo capture everything enterprise of Ghana mesre so omo mani nko enel sense
we dey move fan chemi ye brain ntino your last topic na na sanke koso no unfortunately ye ntimi enkoso ntino move fan chemi I'm sure say next week Thursday no we'll make ample time and look into the matter. Listowel Nana Kusipoku Oye, Executive Director of the Good Governance Advocacy Group Ghana. Onona yete nende no Sansona yete Ivan Che Innocent or a youth activist and a social commentator. And so yete nende once again you know yete Farouk Osman or a NPP.
Just a word.
30 seconds.
But the one say my boss or say party no na party are no it is all can one share now we declare partners criminals even them we share criminalities now say no we share say na bia ya ba here
now we are criminal
once means at this
massacre my brother
mean to whole party wa don ma nti o say agona nko ni ya ma wa o say enye e bia na dey open no bia we nya na that time nti na bia and then the penny of he was part of the criminals top notch.
Ivan, it's only fair that I give you. Ivan, it's only fair that I give you 30 seconds. Now to wrap it up.
Doctor, so we are aware. Say, yes, sir. So do one now. Galam sir. No, come on, dear. Boy, dear, home. My ye. Sir. Yan kakra munya entosi di na me tranka nko I'm sure you are near any be any kura. I say, yeah, come from severely. Aquafa, a dear be a bar, fine cozy, and to me fair. Yan paying for them so, ya friend was zebra, a jauna devil shawano. The Anaduna may walk, come, I may bring you communicate to Santi, I dare say, and pay no. The empaying for the main cano. And one of the goods who are maker. Ah, okay. Devially, now, I compare at them.
Yo, na mo how ne saying we ayemra anante sa
yo mpacho ya da say yan adrama for ye nchiri mra
okay
ye di mra so pa then so no ye chiri kura ne se ombeka chere so obi aboka ye mwa ne ntia kana ne de ye chiri kura enura na DVL Panyini Pia Bontin Beka Chere Ghana for our
we wish to announce some immediate measures.
BBC Kebebo BBC Dinti send command bed Power FM Yamunuamo any radio SYZ or Trazo Cafe or Betoka a Kakasia Padawo you must now or be confirm it.
Yes.
The third banner say Wakwa BB but the year drama for Crown Yachitri ya de atoko kronen kati ewie ya to atwene be wa uzem faso bi ani so on kan kire me say the car na me de nam ne seat ya yefin ti wo ji me 225 Ghana cedi
220
boss fa bi na wo kwa motoke di wanim no a wo ba here no yem fopoku ase amasama kwa na wuro o glass ko fom yakoba Yevia, now what year 225 Ghana cedi no, at the I am shot with the Anian Zetia. But funny enough, say roadworthy. Doctor.
Yes.
Funny enough, say roadworthy.
Me sure, sir.
Good. But your constituency there a two. Oh, Crowema, bet me a body. Car here, do my phone so. Past 20 years in a moon quota. Baby, who is that self? Echo a year in soccer, it is a young upon board, dear. One quota. And decided when you know Namswano, DVL boss say in the car city, I have been to a 225 Ghana city. Why do you add the whole paper about this argument?
Oh, na se o kan sa tell them di kan kan. Eyemra anase enyemra.
Emra me say
enne
kwala mani pano mpacho. Ufa price bid up no fuel price bid up no. When we say we talk 1 liter of fuel be a jo 48 Ghana cedi say ye de kwa ka kwan.
Yes.
Driver ni no nam say kwa no hu quota da no. On top fuel.
Auto.
Enti are ni agini saska no ya de ya kwan no wo yen na de ma no
ene se DVL nye kwan
na DVL nye kwan a are na DVL e be di posi adwuma wo de be ya ade akokot ama court mo ma boka ama ya di sikana ko to man futuom DVL da be no be dan posi
me feel say we no enka mo benya abotre mo na mo hia DVL mpenifo no na munya sao no ma hu di be kire panyin uzi enya abotre ebuza panyin ni za no ma be ni esanko omo de omo kire mu se eye mra under road traffic regulation no 2012
me that say road traffic regulation 2012 and like 2180 no
yes
what do you say DBL for kra say ya kra do mo court na DBL for yin ko reasons here
sedenti
return research no kan wa sem no unim car in a bob brand ya say empantare no 3.5 ton but when that gets 3.5 ton
me sure
and the pro no mo boy no and parliament say ya the 3.5 ton and you for return reflector and ka hu nsia edu go chia e sprinter bus geno abra V8 and am hope free the car no no team no and one chain Hyundai Grace every time home
I see
party na aboa ho and any guy ira one pie
I see and they say no
abra omu kofa enfidi a ye dey check car car no ho den eba no ye mu bi ye ka kire omo say taxi can dey kofa enfidi enfanya car kwan ye car kwan na automatically no cars dada na free system no me be am dey be mfanto ho me matrala 16 good years and na me free ho me tell about it na trade ni ye aduma no pacho ye fat dropping from 37 ne adia me ho na me ye aduma pa you be do trade ho na e free ho ko chado pacho ni mi chado that is say why kama no
me nim chado
na enfutro kumo enti ye ka no ye de ni nam krom no ye nam ko chas ye duru ope ni a drop passenger na di na ma chado ni no no de ne ko enne omuye kwan na o man pay dwama ma ti wo bie no ko ne ko he ka na nka sa na ya la chagu trefe ni mo no ni so bia asesa ne ka
I see
no de ko fa no that is the poku ase eba banyard so ni sa road no awo su kwan no
yes
na ka ta la cha egu ho no enya asemwa ya you bi kwa o dropping so de fata kwan no so aye nko ene omuye kwan ni free wo no na nkasa alachana yin wo free system no
I see
anything say me dey make up be we PDA so commercial na 6 good months one ma me road ready ni we no wo be tware me kwan mu say kwan na me nam so nye ama me car ho aye fi but onye court ni yin ro kwa kire ma kire court na court we tie ya asem wo na do peradika
okay enti ya be man ti no ne kra ni se de na mo hwe animu se wo mo nye den
ne kra ni se de America akaba ni nsem no hu bi do di eska no pacho what is say ya chi obi se wa twa fake lances e wo ni fie e wo man mu ada
there be
enti nya di mi ele pora no mu twa fake lances man no mbe kare ya kwa so no when say di mi ele se sani mfi di e next station we are so dey mu na driver lances magana for
sir
mo from na mu so me ma tena mu bi ama mo abeye bi wala pass ya ye bi o kanesi ya ye bi wa shaman no
okay
I want to catch me say you fake
okay mo hwe anim se saa de we no omo ntwensinsan kura on
papa bibi le boss no kwa ezo man panyin yi na ti fi on tan mansa na ye design ko no
okay ya ba me na wase ebre se no me de divia pedifo na be ba ha na afi ye di nkomo ni yi
ni en for road traffic regulating no mo rese obi aboka ko se man buzia na bi woni nam kromwa na no okay
all right yate okay yate mama na wase se wajibre na oni edi nkomo ewo ho eye ya bema wo ye True Drivers Union for a PR kasamafo a dia me na twetwe nkomo divele nsem no nya de ne boju sokra ne keka enye izekra sa se we de asem a in the coming days no drivers no ebe ward was super but